Hello, everyone. Welcome back again to another edition of What's Happening Now. As always, remember to like, share, and comment on this broadcast, as there could be some information that we'll have here tonight not only be useful to yourself, but perhaps to a friend or a neighbor. As always, tonight's show is being brought to us by Hello Guest Screen. Hello Guest Screen offers an easy way to personalize your Airbnb properties, TV screens with customized images and dynamic calendar-driven guest information. We also utilize this Hello Guest Screen here at CNI Solutions as well. It has proven to be outstanding. If you have an Airbnb or a business, I think you should look into Hello Guest Screen. Also, keep in mind, we do have still coming up next month is going to be our 7 and 7 community baby shower. We are still taking donations. We are still accepting any type of gently used items. You can just send them to CNI Solutions, or if you want to go ahead and just donate, please, by all means, donate. Go to our website or into any of our social media pages. So tonight, we're going to do a little something different because I got a few topics I want to address, and I'm going to make this a community open forum discussion. So anything that I touch on or we talk about tonight, if you got something that you would like to add or say to that, please put it in the chat, and our producer will get it to us, and we can go ahead and discuss that. Over the weekend, it's been an eventful week for CNI Solutions, I could say the least. And over the weekend, Brittany and I, we attended the AMVO prayer breakfast, and that was on April 6th. And outstanding event, I can say. The speakers were very dynamic. The guest speaker was very, very dynamic. I love this message. He basically talked about the people who are incarcerated, how we look at them as trash, and we just throw them away in the trash can. But then he referred it back to the Bible, how he went and talked about a few of the characters in the Bible, how they were talking as pulled away, as looked as trash, but they got turned around by their Savior. So, Brittany, what did you get from that event?
From the prayer breakfast, obviously we got a lot of prayer, which is much needed, but we also got to see current, previously incarcerated in the progress of changing over, and then we seen the ones that actually have that story that said, I made it. Mm-hmm. And this is what I did to make it, to not just broadcast or to show that if I can do it, anybody else can do it, but to also motivate the ones that were in the process of doing it. Like, it's not easy to come from, being inside four walls for somebody telling you to do what it is that they wanted to do at whatever time they wanted to do it, to now getting back into society and doing something with your life. I thought it was really amazing to have that additional support to let them know you're not the only one that's having a hard time in your journey. We've had it too.
Right. So, I thought it was a good event. I wish that there was more resources available for those previously incarcerated who were there, or those who wanted to come to that event. There should have been a little bit more. Hey, go to this table if you needed a job. Go to this table if you're looking for housing. Go to this table if you need a driver's license. I wish there was a little bit more than that. And again, the event was great. I enjoyed it. But then again, you're talking about someone who helps the previously incarcerated. So for me, it was an awesome event. But I think for those who physically needed the help, they probably was looking for a little bit more that they wanted to get from that than just prayer. They probably needed those actual resources to get them started. So I hope and pray that the next year's event, when they go to do this, they emphasize a little bit more on helping the previously incarcerated and giving them those things. We also attended the NASHARM conference. That was yesterday, in fact. Absolutely. That was yesterday. And NASHARM is the North Alabama Society of Human Resources Management. Great information that was given out there. I got a chance to speak before all those HR representatives to talk a little bit about CNI Solutions, our mission, and what we're doing. Great networking event. We met a lot of good people there. I really was impressed with the way they presented that conference. I think Miss Caitlin Sampson and Ashley Glenn, they did an awesome job there. And I can't say enough about that conference and the things they did. And not only that, Brittany, they supported our mission with the community baby shower
Absolutely, they
and
did.
gave us a huge donation of baby items, which is going to be much needed for this upcoming baby shower that we're going to have next month, which is going to be at the Bob Harrison Center on the 26th of May. We'll start the registration. We'll open up the registration on May 1st. But I look forward to this being an extravagant event. I have a lot of professionals who are volunteering to come out and want to speak and support. We're going to have, I'm speaking with the CEO of the Huntsville Hospital, where we're going to try to get OBGYNs down there. We're going to get people down there talking about postpartum depression. We're going to have doulas down there. We're going to have dad doula down there speaking as well. So we're going to have a lot of good people down there to talk to these young ladies and helping them out, and the young men who might be there as well, to help them out, along with giving them some much needed baby items like this. And we'll have some refreshments. Well, I take that back. They're not going to be refreshments. We're going to have some food.
We're going to have some food.
We're going to have some food there for the people to eat, while we're down there. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. And I tell you what, ladies, those who are out there, if you're 7 months pregnant or 7 months postpartum, and you're about to deliver, this is an event you want to go ahead and sign up for, because I'm telling you, you're going to get a lot of great information coming from. That's going to be on the 26th of May, starting at 1 o'clock from the Bob Harrison Center here in Huntsville, Alabama. And we'll definitely be doing that. So we already got a question from one of the viewers that says, how do we sign up for the baby shower? Very good question, viewer. Once we put it out, the registration will be opened up on May 1st, and you can sign up on the CNI Solutions website. If you just go to CNI Solutions, www.cni-solutions.org/event, and you go to the baby shower event, and you'll see the registration there, and you can go ahead and sign up. So, and the reason why we're making this a registered event, ladies and gentlemen, because what we do not want, we don't want nobody slighted. We don't want nobody leaving out of that event with only one item or two items, and maybe the neighbor beside you had 10 items. We want everyone to have an equal amount of items whenever they leave, and we want everyone to feel like, hey, this is special and unique to them. All right, and that's what it is. It's a baby shower, just like it's a personal baby shower for your daughter, your mother, whoever you was going to have a baby shower, and how you would do that at your home or an event center. This is what this is going to be like, but with added education. So that's what it's going to be like. All right. So along with that, so yesterday we had our graduating class, last night, our spring class of 2024, our first class. And that was awesome. Wait a minute, we got another question out there. It says statement. Let me see what it says there. It says, good evening. This is a wonderful event for new mothers and mothers that can't. Yeah, yes, ma'am. You are correctly right, Miss Avery. We are trying our best to help our community and give them what they need, because there are a lot of mothers out there who just don't have the resources or the funding to be able to get the things they need for their newborn child like this. So yes, we are definitely trying to help them the best way we can. And we want this to be something special to them, because maybe that one mother, Brittany, or our mother, whoever it may be, didn't have a baby shower or didn't have the funds to have a baby shower. Well, this is their chance to have one and a whole lot more. All right. So last night we had our graduating class for the entrepreneur course, our spring class 2024. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we've been doing entrepreneurship now since 2020, and we've been having classes. This class that we graduated last night, they have got to be the most dynamic and diverse class that we've ever had.
Agreed.
And the businesses that they are starting are all unique. Not one of them is something that's already out there. It's something that I haven't heard before, I haven't seen before, or we hadn't seen it in this area. And I'm telling you, you all who are watching this, and you all who are in this area, who's going to be able to chance to be a customer to some of them, you are going to be amazed of what they are coming out with, because even I said to myself, I'm going to be your first customer, because I want some of that, or I want that service. I want to know about that. And these entrepreneurs, they getting so deep with it. We're talking about they're going into genetic testing. They're talking about cell revitalization. I mean, I was not expecting these type of businesses to be coming through our course over these last 12 weeks, but I'm very, very super proud of them. Absolutely. And I know there were some bumps in the road for some of y'all who might be watching. I know Miss Brittany had to work with a few of y'all on some of those numbers, because it's that math that always gets them every time. That We all got a great product or we all great service, but when that math hits us, it hits us hard, and we're kind of go down when it hits us. You want to address that a little bit?
I kind of actually stated that last night in my my little speech that I had. We definitely had a lot of bumps in potholes, should I say, in the road. But everybody was so dedicated and so diligent to want to know and understand that when it was that time, they were blowing my phone up. Hey, Brittany, can I get an appointment? What time you will be at the office? I'm like, look, y'all get on my nerves, but come on in. And we actually worked one-on-one. We had a couple of group sessions where we all sat down and said, hey, I understand it. Now let me see if I can help you do it this way. And we're all doing it together, and it made a difference.
All right. And I think that one-on-one is what makes the difference, is what really helps those entrepreneurs get through some of those hard times. We got another question from someone. He says, can you tell us a little bit about CNI? So a little bit about CNI, ladies and gentlemen. CNI Solutions, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, pretty much here in the Huntsville area. We have worked as far as Mississippi. We've done some nonprofit work in this Jackson, Mississippi a few years back when they had a big storm down there. We did a great help down there with them. But we basically do entrepreneurship training for those who are learning to start their business and want to start a business. We do financial literacy for teens, ages 13 to 19. And when we talk about financial literacy, we're talking about the things that you as an adult need to know as well. We're talking about credit scores. We're talking about predatory lending. We're talking about debt to income ratio. We're talking about goals, SMART goal savings. We're talking about how to write checks, who's responsible for the checks, how to fill out money orders. We're doing all of that so that they are well equipped when they get that first job or they're graduating from high school to go to college. They understand not to be grabbing all those credit cards that they're going to get when they go up into those dorms, and all those vendors are going to be out there saying, hey, sign up here, sign up here. They're going to know a little bit about that. Like this. So that's a little bit about what we do as with CNI Solutions. So one thing I want to address and I want to talk about, and viewers, and please chime in whenever you want. Let's talk a little bit about wanting more for others that don't want for themselves. How do you address that? How do you as viewers address that to a family member, to a friend that you can see potential in them, and you're trying to give them what they need, but they don't want it for themselves? So I tell you what, Brittany, for me, it's disheartening, especially when I see someone who is above average and you want to pour into them and you want to give them more, but they don't take advantage of that. And they don't seem to have that eager or that willingness to do better. And it's like, you're almost like, man, what a waste of talent. Why can't you do more? You need to do more, and that's always been a pain point for me, especially as an entrepreneur, as a nonprofit. I'm always looking for the good in someone. I'm always looking to see how I can help someone do better, how I can propel them to that next level. And when you come across one or two or three that just is kind of like, I don't care about that, Charles. I don't really want to do that. It's disheartening to me. So viewers, and by all means, don't be shy. If you have an answer to that, go ahead and chime in, put it in the chat. Our producer will get it. As I go to Brittany, how do you deal with those who you're trying to pour into but don't want better for themselves?
So let me make a personal example first before I go into how I feel. 2 years ago, I had this gentleman that kept telling me what I could be after a health issue that I had. And he kept saying, well, come work with me, come do this. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't really want to. Now, fast forward 2 years later, I'm sitting right next to this gentleman who saw more for me than I saw for myself. So it definitely made a difference for me. So I try to be like Mr. Charles Fry. I want to pour into people and I give people the benefit of the doubt, and I see the best in everybody. And there's been situations where that has turned around and eventually hurt me because I see what you can be, but you don't see it. So I'm beating a dead horse.
Right.
And it's like you said, disheartening to have that interaction with somebody where only if you just actually take a step back and actually listen to what I'm saying and actually understand what I'm saying, you can be in a different place in a different level than what you are.
Right.
So
I agree with you 100%. We got another question or statement on the board. We got Miss Fry up there. She says, that's like beating your head against a brick wall. You can want all you want for someone, but if they don't want it more themselves, all the wanting in the world won't help. You know what? I can agree with you on that one. And it's hard sometimes. We got another one from Ms. Krantz. Says, encourage the individuals to reflect on their own behavior and motivations, help them set goals and create plan for improvement. And yes, that is another option that we can take as well, Ms. Krantz. You know, both of them are good views because I've seen it. It's kind of the old annex. I remember the old days. The Papa them used to say you can drag a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right?
Absolutely.
You know, and sometimes, you know, that's what it feels like right there. I think Miss Avery's got something that there. She says, Mr. Fry is so right. Miss Fry is so right. That's right, Miss Avery.
And to actually touch on what Ms. Crane said, you can encourage and reflect on your own behavior and motivations, but from example with people that I've had in my life, even when you turn the mirror to them, they don't see it.
Right.
So you, again, like you said, you can't lead the horse to the water and make them drink, but even getting them to the water where they see what is going on, some people just see it and still decide to not address it or don't want to deal with past issues or deal with trauma or deal with anything to change the outlook or the outspace of where they're at.
And I think, you know, that goes along with my next subject what I want to talk on is talking about cultural mindset, cultural change. How do we get the community to start changing that mindset they have? And some of the things that I talk about in the entrepreneur classes and when I talk to the business owners, I says, you cannot continue your business with the status quo. Mm-hmm. You cannot allow those to come to you and say, hey, can I get a discount? You cannot be that business that is operating like the only people who come visit you is your friends or your homeboy, your homegirl. You have to operate that business like a business. And one of the things that I tell a lot of people, when we see things that are not right, we way too often stay quiet. Mm-hmm. We stay quiet. And it's kind of like my dad used to say, closed mouths don't get fed, right? Mm-hmm. Well, it's the same thing. If we're expecting change in our community, if we're expecting change in those individuals, we have to speak up and say, hey, you know, you should pull your pants up. You know, mm-hmm. That's not a professional look. Absolutely. You know, or we should say, hey, you know, you shouldn't be doing all that cussing like that, all that cursing. That's not becoming of you as a man or a woman, especially in the particular setting that you're in. But way too often we stay quiet. And while we staying quiet, we're allowing that type of behavior to continue. Mm-hmm. And then nothing changes. And then what you have happen is you have a group of like-minded individuals, you know, like myself, yourself, or the viewers watching. You have this group of like-minded individuals who talk just amongst ourselves, and we talk about what's happening, what's going on, but it doesn't change within inside the community because no one's saying nothing to that individual or those individuals in the community.
Right. Nobody wants to actually be the change.
Right. We got another question from statement from Ms. Fry. Says some people are afraid of success. That is true. They've been downtrodden for so long that it feels normal to them. It's familiar to them, and the thought of anything else is frightening. You know what, Ms. Fry, you are 100% correct because believe it or not, we've had students who came through our entrepreneur course that actually signed up to become a business owner, was afraid that they were going to be successful in what they was going to do and did not know how to deal with it. Mm-hmm. When I tell some of them, I say, you're sitting on a gold mine because this is something that is not out here. This is brand new to the world. This is brand new to the community. And what you are doing is going to be a game changer, and it frightens them. Mm-hmm. So you are 100% correct on that. But we got to figure out, how do we make that change? Mm-hmm. How do we get our people to understand that success is not a bad thing? You know, they have to understand that, hey, just because I made it and I did something good, that doesn't mean that you can't either. Mm-hmm. And way too often, I can't remember. There's help me out here, ladies and gentlemen. There's a thing that they call like when people get successful and they feel like they left behind their family or friends, and then they end up starting a downward spiral because they felt guilty that they have become successful and their friends and family haven't. We got another question here from Miss Avery. Says a lot starts at home, and then the parents have to show our children that they can do it and be the best. That is true. A lot of that does start from home. Ms. Humphrey says sometimes you have to be the change that people see. I cannot agree with both y'all anymore. I totally believe in that. I believe it does start at home. We've changed so much in our communities, and as from, I'm telling you like this, ladies and gentlemen, when I was growing up, if I did wrong, it was nothing for mom or dad to take a strap to my backside to straighten me up. And I learned. It wasn't no difference if they said, don't touch that stove, you're going to get burned. Don't stick your finger in the outlet, you're going to get shocked. You know, whatever the case may be, once I got that licking, if you will, I understood. Like this, and there's an old saying that goes around that says, when you know better, you do better, right? Well, you doggone too, and I knew better then because I wasn't fixing to try to get that strap no more. But now in today's age, so much has changed, and there's so many phone calls and 911s and help centers, and kids are calling on parents, and emancipation and all that's taking place. Parents are scared. Parents are scared to give that discipline to their child, especially at home or even in the streets. Because I'm telling you right now, if my sons or my grandkids put out, I'm going to show out. Wherever they did it at, that's where you're going to get it at. I don't care if it's the mall. I don't care if it's the movie theater. I don't care if it's a birthday party. I don't care if it's school. They already know. So that in turn lets them know, hey, I need to be walking the straight and narrow. Because I do not need my grandfather coming down to this school. I don't need him showing up at this birthday party. I don't need him showing up at my prom. I don't need him showing up at graduation ready to do something that's going to make me in a bad way. All right. But we've gotten away from that. And I think with a lot of the new parents now, the parents are tending to allow the kids to run their own life, allowing them to do what they want. So when we start talking about that community change, you know, again, you got to be that change if you want to see that change. But we all have to start speaking up. We all have to be a part of that and stop allowing silence. You know, there's a big thing going around that says silence is agreement. You know, if I do something and none of you all say nothing to me or don't talk to me about it, you just agree to it. You agree to what I done. You know, so we got to start speaking up so we can get that change. And talking to each other, to us, that's not going to make the change. We got to talk to the ones who were trying to change. We need to talk to them so that they can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
And to add on to what Ms. Frost said earlier, that people are afraid of success. One of the biggest things that stuck with me, and this came from the NASHRM conference, was one of the HR representatives that came to our table. And she looked at us and she said, people are scared to fail, but they fail to realize it's okay to fail.
Yes.
The biggest takeaway I took from that is you'll never learn if you don't fail. If you always get it, you always get it, you always got it. What new are you learning and what are you doing? And then that right there takes me back to a statement you gave me maybe 6 or 7 months ago. You said, if I'm the smartest one sitting at the table, if I'm amongst all my friends and I'm the smartest one sitting at the table, I need to change tables.
Yes, ma'am.
I need to move and put myself in a different space to where I'm not the smartest one anymore. So I'm still learning and still getting. And that made a difference, because when you start to move and migrate yourselves from people that are always calling on you, always asking for you, always asking for advice, then you realize I'm not getting anything out of it.
Right.
So that is a big hitter for us, especially in our community as African Americans. We are scared to fail, we're scared to fall, but sometimes we need the failure and the falls and the bumps and bruises to look back later on and say, I got all of these, but look where I'm at now. If
you don't fail, you don't learn. If you think about it from a school standpoint, when you're in school and you fail a test, you already know what answers you put down that caused you to fail.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what answers not to put down the next time you take the test.
Absolutely.
Well, it's the same thing in life. The things that you fail in, you know what you failed in. Now you know what not to do. And it doesn't matter if it's in business, if you had an addiction with drugs, if you have financial problems like this, and you end up going broke. You knew what caused you to go broke. You knew what caused you to get on drugs. You knew what caused you to fail those tests. Now you can make a change and make a difference and do better. And again, I go back to that. When you know better, you do better. You know, talking about know better and do better. Let's talk a little bit about friends and family, hiring friends and family, working with friends and family. One of the biggest problems that I see in the entrepreneur world and even in the family world, we're afraid to speak to our friends and family and tell them the truth. Like, hey, you're not cut out for this.
Right.
You don't actually know how to do this, do you? Or, hey, that is wrong the way you're doing it. And then on the same token, the friends and family need to understand, and they need to learn to be able to accept that criticism and use it for betterment. But instead, we repel from it, we deflect from it, or we want to run away from it, and we want to blame everything else except for ourselves as to why something didn't work, as to why it failed, as to why you couldn't get the help or support that you needed. And it's so funny. I'll talk about that. I had a student who contacted me, and I told him, I says, well, hey, you're not going to be able to continue with this course because you didn't meet all the requirements. And the first thing the student says, well, I felt like I wasn't given the opportunity to pass this course. Well, the problem was the opportunity was already there. It was there from day one. But when they failed to show up like this, that's what caused you not having the opportunity not to pass like this. So we have to be honest with friends and family, especially when we're working with them, if they're not doing right, if they're doing wrong. I could tell this young lady right now, she knows already, if you don't work right like this, you're going to have to go. Absolutely. We're going to have to straighten that up. And I have no problems in doing that. And I tell everybody, and just like I tell my grandkids as well, it ain't nothing personal. It's business.
Absolutely.
It's business. I'm still going to love you at the end of the day, but you're not going to work out for this right here like this. And that's what we have to start learning to be able to say to friends and family when they can't do something. Let them know they can't do it. Say, hey, this isn't a good fit for you. Look like we got another question up there. Statement says, but is there a certain way to address any situation, mainly when there's respect for each other? Yes, there is a way that you can address it. As my brother used to tell me all the time, he says, man, you know, you're one of those heartless ones, Charles. You're heartless. Well, and I get that sometimes, and I understand that. And sometimes in certain situations, certain people, you have to learn how to dial it back, and you might have to address it a little way, but you still need to give them that full-fledged truth. You still need to give them those cold, hard facts. We tell the students at the beginning of class, hey, before we get started, I need to let y'all know something. Becoming an entrepreneur is hard work. Are you ready for that? Becoming an entrepreneur takes time. Are you ready for that? Becoming an entrepreneur is going to take money. Are you ready? If you can't say yes to all those, then you don't need to become an entrepreneur, because it's going to take all of that to become successful in the business of entrepreneurship. Got another thing to just Miss Prescott say happy birthday, brother-in-law. Yeah, if y'all hadn't noticed, I got some balloons and a little thing on the tray. Says today is my birthday. I'm feeling great. I mean, I don't know. At 45, you know, you tend to, you feel a little bit older when you turn 45, you know, like this. But you know, I'm feeling all right. I still feel strong and jubilant, you know. But I appreciate that, sister-in-law. I appreciate that. We got a statement from Tisha says, hey, I agree with you 100. Hey, that is correct. Thank you for that. We thank you for that. Got another one from Ms. Fry, says, in more. I'm not too sure in more means. There might have been something that I might have made a statement on, but they said in more. But it is imperative, though, that we talk to friends and family and we let them know the facts up front. Don't sugarcoat nothing. Don't hide anything. because it's only going to spiral out of control. If you let them know right then and there, yeah, they might be hurt. They might have their feelings hurt. I'm sure I probably hurt her feelings a few times, one or a few times. You know, like this, hey.
More than a few, but I can say this. At the beginning, I tell everybody this. I'm like, when I first got here with my dad, I had a hard time distincting business and personal. And I was like, I know I'm coming in here, but that's my dad. I'm gonna do it. But I got that first bout of criticism, and I was like, I'm not going back. I'm mad. I'm not calling him. He called me. I may or may not answer the phone. If I answer the phone, I might be busy. And then I realized over time that it wasn't that you was giving me the criticism or you were telling me the things that I could have done better out of spite. It was to help me get better to where I'm at, even now, where I'm a snitching myself a little bit. I could not pitch CNI Solutions to save my life. I could not. And it took literally February of this year for him to help me realize I didn't need cue cards. I didn't need the PowerPoints. I didn't need any printouts because I knew it. But it was more than a few times, but I'm not going to tell those numbers.
Yeah. We ain't going to tell those numbers. But you know, folks, the whole premise of this one tonight, you know, it's all about community. It's about friends. It's about family. It's about support, you know. And if you have somebody out there that is doing great things in your family, if you have somebody out there that's doing great things in your community, support them. We got another question from Prescott. It says, show what's that? Show tough love. Oh, show tough love. And it's hard to do with family members. Yeah, I agree. Tough love is hard to do, but let me tell you what I do. Let me give you how I address tough love with family members there, Miss Prescott. So my grandchildren one time, they was doing wrong, and they knew they was doing wrong. And I was out of town, and I explained to them, I says, hey, you know, once I get back in 3 weeks, you're going to have to get punished for this, right? And they was like, oh, man, are you for real? Yes, I'm very for real. And when I returned back home 3 weeks later, I called them up. Their parents brought them to the house, and they were punished. And I used that leather strap the way I should. But guess what? Afterwards, I gave them that big hug. I gave them that big kiss. So they understood it ain't personal. This was business. You messed up, so now you had to pay for it, but I still love you. All right. So when you have family members, you still have to let them know when you're giving them that tough love, you still need to let them know that, hey, I still love you. Absolutely. I'm not against you. I'm not hating you. I'm not throwing you away, but you need to understand you can't do this and perhaps live in my home. You can't do this and live in my home, or you can't do this and borrow my car and leave and go for a whole week. And you said you're only going to go on be 2 hours, you know, so you have to be able to do that so they understand. All right. And when you do that, they gain that respect. They gain that respect of you. Because I can tell you right now, I have not had a problem with my grandchildren. Woo! I don't know how long. Maybe since that last strap. Everything's all about no, sir. You'll say, hey, we love you, G. Paul. You're the greatest. Big hugs and kisses all the time. But they understand that I love them too. They understand what discipline is. They understand that you can't go in life and just doing what you want to do and don't expect to be punished for it.
And they all now subconsciously think about, what would I get from G. Paul if this does not go the right way? They think about what G. Paul thinks.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to come see G. Paul.
Right.
Unless it's on good terms. Like, oh, G. Paul called us over to the house versus, oh, G. Paul said, come over and help. You know, it makes them think conscious and make conscious decisions and be fully aware that I know if something goes wrong, where I'm going to end up at. Because I'm the first parent to say, I'm calling G. Paul.
So I think one time I heard the kids talking in the room the other day, and they was saying, you know, that ain't right. They said, what would Jesus do? They said, nah, not what would Jesus do. What would G. Paul do? That's what we need to worry about. So I was like, oh man, these kids are too much. But yeah, hey, I tell y'all what, family, friends out there, we appreciate all the love. We appreciate all the support that y'all are giving to CNI Solutions. We appreciate the support that y'all give to these lives. I like this. Continue to support your family members. Continue to support those friends who are doing positive things out there in the community, because they cannot get there without your support and love. And that means a lot. I try my best to do that for everyone who comes to our entrepreneur course, every one of my family members who's doing something positive. If I know about it, if it's fed to me, I'm trying to pour into that because I want them to be successful. I tell everybody, you know, when they say, well, you know, Charles, when I grow up, I want to be like you. I say, no, don't be like me. Be better than me. I want you to be better than me. Like this, and you being better than me is success to me. That means like, man, they've made it. Like this, I've gave just that little bit to that person who made it to the top. All right. So, anything else you would like to add, Miss Brittany?
Not that anything in particular. I did attend the first alumni luncheon for the Civil Engagement Academy through the Diversity of Inclusion Equity.
Okay.
It was a really great success. Not only did I get to have a reunion with my cohort that I had in fall of 23, but I got to meet the first two cohorts before us. Great networking, and I just really enjoyed that. And I can't wait for next year for the second annual to see more cohorts, to see people that's coming behind me that care about the community just as much as I do. And as Ms. Prescott said earlier, we want to wish Mr. Charles, our very own president, a very special happy birthday from me, our producer, and all of CNI Solutions. And I'm pretty sure the community partners, and Ms. Renee said she loves you. Don't forget it. And that's just about it for me.
All right. All right. Hey, I appreciate that. We got some good guests coming up here in the next few weeks, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure y'all stay tuned on that. And always remember, your yesterday is not your today, and your today is not your tomorrow. Good night.